Well, welcome back, everybody. Hope you guys had a good weekend. Gosh, we are in for a crazy 2025. Now, by now, you've probably all heard Trump's bizarre tweet to Elon Musk, and it seemed like it was an accidental tweet that went out telling him that Bill Gates wanted to meet him at Mar-a-Lago. Now, Trump has yet to actually meet with Bill Gates, but the irony here is that just the day before, all of you heard it, I told you guys, mark my words, that Trump would be meeting next with Bill Gates. Now, of course, I can't take credit for Holy Spirit influence. That glory goes to God. But what a crazy change of events that's happening right now. Now, let's get into the show today. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. We are live. It's December 30th, 2024, just on the cusp of the new year. And we're going to get into something that basically you're going to find hard to believe. Now, in the context of these unidentified night drones flying all around us now, and Trump's deregulation, specifically of the, quote, night drones in 2017, unquote, as well as Trump's ties to major drone manufacturers through Palantir, who's connected to Vance, his VP, Peter Thiel, his son Trump Jr., who is now on the board of Domestic Drones, as well as Musk's brother owning 9,000 drones. All of this will begin to make sense. Now, if you're in denial or you're still in the right-left paradigm, you'll say things like, Trump's not in power yet. He's not the president yet. Or you'll say other things, and you won't make the connection because that's called the right-left paradigm. Why do you think all this is being brought to bear just weeks before the Trump presidency? It's setting the stage, and all these people work together. They all do. Biden, Kamala, whatever you want to call it, Trump, they're not on our side. They're all on their own side. Now, here is what you're not going to believe until I actually show it to you. Good morning, everybody. This whole scenario of killer night drones being controlled by satellites was depicted exactly in a movie from 11 years ago. The movie is called OBLIVION, and it squarely places this night drone, killer drone scenario on Trump. There are direct connections to Trump in the film before he was even elected to the first presidency. Now, let me give you the backdrop of this, and then we're going to look at some clips of this. Now, we decoded this film, OBLIVION, way back in 2014.
They attack our drones at night.
They attack our drones at night, and I'll give you the backdrop of what this is all about. Now, notice that your screen is inverted. They're looking at the screen upside down as Tom Cruise talks about being attacked at night by drones. Well, because the screen is inverted, they're telling you that the opposite is true. That the drones are the ones that attack at night. Now, this entire film centers around one drone called Drone 166. Trump was born on the 166th day of the year. Drone 166 is Trump. Now, Trump's only born on the 166th day of the year in presidential years, in leap years, in election years. Now, let me give you the backdrop. Let me check in with you guys first. I actually got to check the sound on this. We had some sound issues last time. Sound was way too loud. Let's play a little bit of this and test the sound here.
I handle drone maintenance.
Okay, I think the sound's good. Now, what is this all about? Well, Tom Cruise plays a drone technician in the far distant future. As you just heard, he says, I take care of drone maintenance. And Tom Cruise is told that he is at war with a guerrilla group called Scavs. Scavs for scavengers. And Cruise is told that these Scavs are aliens who invaded Earth, destroyed the moon, and forced humanity off Earth to Titan, the moon Titan. Now, because Earth has no moon, the tides surge to unimaginable heights as high as the Empire State Building. And so Tom Cruise is sent to investigate a downed drone that they believe that the scavengers took down. The drone is drone 166, which I believe now represents Trump, born on the 166th day of the year, only in presidential years and leap years. Let's take a look at this, you guys. Let me back this up and start again. The night drones. Remember, this is all about night drones. This was not a thing before this year.
They attack our drones at night and try to kill me during the day. I handle drone maintenance. The drones watch everything.
Can you plug that hole with drone 109?
Negative. 109 is in the dock. I have two...
You have 2 drones offline. Perimeter's compromised.
Copy that. Relaying to tech. Stand by. 166 is down in grid 37.
On my way.
Still waiting for parts.
Jack better find those drones and get them flying. Those rigs can't be exposed overnight. Tower, didn't he fix 166 recently?
Jack has fixed all the drones recently.
Your directive today is to rehabilitate 166 and find 172. Get them flying by sundown. I'll buy you 2 a round of...
You're welcome.
So it's obvious that 166 is Trump. Now, what does this mean? Well, these drones are clones. They're just numbered differently. And the whole movie is about Tom Cruise as a clone. There are thousands of Tom Cruises sent down by the aliens to basically root out the scavengers, which are actually really the humans. And so it's Tom Cruise's job to keep the drone swarm active and maintained. Now, there's another connection here to further the Trump is the drone connection. Now, what this means, I don't know. My guess is that these presidents are ancient pharaohs. We knew that Obama was. And they're brought back in specific times in history, reanimated. I don't know how they do it. From the canopic jars, the black goo, the DNA, I don't know. But they're literally depicting this in the film. Now, this begs the question, who is drone 72 that they talk about in the film? And that might be a birthday connection as well. I think they said 72 or 172. But the whole thing centers around drone 166. Now, the other Trump connection here is that Cruise first finds drone 166 in this football stadium. And in the film, the football stadium is the last Super Bowl in the year 2017, which of course was just a few weeks after the first Trump presidency 2017 inauguration. Super Bowl happens in like January, February. Inauguration is January 20th. The two fall within weeks of one another. Now remember, the film Oblivion had not happened yet. It released in 2013, long before all these events that I'm talking about. So we can get our timeline straight here. So 166 is back online. That must mean that the Pharaoh 166 clone has been reanimated in Trump to rule. Now, part of this, maybe they aren't clones. Maybe it's a demon that possesses the president, right? That could be what's going on as well. Let's play some more of this.
166 is back online.
So this is the first night drone attack. And you can see in the readout of the drone shooting, it says terminate. So this is the Terminator scenario that we've been talking about that's happening or is going to happen. I believe these quote unquote gas explosions and all this stuff, these are the first signs of the drone war. They're really drones taking people out who are enemies of the state. They'll blame it on a gas explosion. We've seen it dozens of times over the years. The drone Terminator scenario. Now, the Empire State Building, which is what you're looking at on your screen, is the focal point of the film, where Tom Cruise finally remembers his past with this woman that he finds in a downed pod that came from orbit. The woman's name is Julia, and Julia was his wife, except it wasn't really his wife because remember, Tom Cruise is a clone. He's been cloned from an astronaut. And this is how the aliens first wage war on Earth. They send out clones of the astronaut that they killed. So Julia falls to Earth from orbit, meets up with Tom, and he's trying to remember. He can hear glimpses and see glimpses of his past married to her. But he can't remember everything because he's been cloned and his brain has been wiped. So the only way he remembers is because Julia reminds him of how he proposed to her. And it was on the Eiffel, I'm sorry, not the Eiffel Tower, the Empire State Building. Now, there's a Trump connection here to the Empire State Building. You're not even going to believe this. Does anyone know the Trump connection to the Empire State Building? Let's go into the chat. See who's paying attention. What is the connection to the Empire State Building? Good morning, everybody. You're not even going to believe this. And I'll show you the actual proof of this. So there are many, many, many more Trump connections to this from this film from 2013. Again, if you're just tuning in, the film is Oblivion from 2013. What is the connection between Trump and the Empire State Building? Cynthia is close. He was going to buy it. He actually did buy the ground underneath the Empire State Building. Now, the reason why the ground level is all the way up to the top of the Empire State Building is because, again, the moon was destroyed. Huge tidal surges bring up the ground level to the top of the Empire State Building. And so the ground beneath the Empire State Building is what Trump owned until 2002. Now, let me show you the proof of that. Let me show you the proof. The Empire State Building and the Art of Trump's Deal talks about this. And then we also get the proof of it in the Wikipedia article. Donald Trump entered a joint venture with Yokoi with a shared goal of breaking the Empire State Building lease on the land. And then we go straight to Trump's website, Trump.com timeline. And again, we get confirmation that Trump owned the land underneath the Empire State Building. It says here, Donald Trump owned the land under the Empire State Building, which he sold in 2002. This historic business transaction allowed for the land and the lease to be merged together for the first time in over 50 years. You can't make this up. Now, let's keep going here. Now, this is where things get really spooky. Because again, as I said, Julia helps Tom Cruise remember that they are married by bringing him back to the exact spot where he proposed to her, which is exactly the southwest corner of the viewing platform of the Empire State Building. Now watch this.
I'm coming in. Do not report to mission till I get back. Do you copy?
He holds up a diamond ring in the southwest corner of the viewing platform of the Empire State Building. It lines up with the One World Trade Freedom Tower. This is an actual screenshot from the movie. Now, remember, this was 2013. The One World Trade Freedom Tower had not opened yet. It didn't open until the following year. So they CGI'd this image in here to complete the ritual. When I say ritual, you'll see what I'm talking about in a minute. Watch this. So the alignment is the southwest corner of the Empire State Building, which is on your screen here where my cursor is, and the One World Trade Freedom Tower. So I lined them up in Google Earth, and I drew a line between the viewing platform and the One World Trade Freedom Tower, and I extended the line back toward us at the bottom of your screen. So it's a single line. There are only a set amount of points that can fall on that line, right? Because I wanted to see if there were any Trump buildings that intersected this line. And absolutely it does. Well, when you extend the line, it passes right through the center of two Trump properties on Fifth Avenue. The line is essentially Fifth Avenue. But to be more precise, let's see if we can make this a little bit bigger for you guys. I don't think it's going to do it for us. But if you look down here in the lower right of your screen, this is Trump Plaza, and on the left is Trump Tower. The line passes almost exactly through the center of these two buildings, through the uprights. Unbelievable. Now, when I say that, I'm not saying it because I don't believe it. I'm saying it because these people are bold in their disclosure. And I'm saying it because even when you show people this exact programming, they won't believe it. So I'm acting surprised, not because I'm surprised. I'm acting surprised to try to help you be surprised about it. Here's the alignment right here. This is where he proposed. He puts the diamond ring right between the eyes in the pineal position of this telescope. There's the One World Trade Freedom Tower. They're standing on the Empire State Building. You extend the line backwards. It goes through the uprights of Trump's two buildings. Now, let's keep watching here.
What have you done?
You can't blame yourself for this. Drones are unreliable. Sometimes things go wrong.
You can't blame yourself for this. Drones are unreliable. Sometimes things go wrong. And this will be the cover story in the new drone world. They'll say, oh, sometimes drones malfunction. Now, what's the context of this scene? Well, basically, the aliens come after Tom Cruise. They kill his clone wife because she's also a clone, not Julia, but the wife he's given as a drone repair person, right? They give him a wife, and she's also a clone. She's an astronaut that they cloned from as well. And so, essentially, they start coming after Tom Cruise. They kill his wife. And then she's like, oh, sometimes drones malfunction. Now, at this point in the film, Cruise is awake to the deception that the people that he thinks are human are really the aliens who destroy Earth, right? And that the real humans are the scavs. and they're trying to take Earth back. And Morgan Freeman makes his entrance into the movie. He's actually explains what exactly happened. Let's listen.
50 years of watching those hydro rigs suck our planet dry. Phase 2 was drones. Repairmen.
Phase 2 was drones. And Phase 1 was the aliens released a human clone army. I didn't put that part in this clip, but that's what he basically said. They were cloned from an American astronaut that they basically absorbed into this huge inverted pyramid, which is the brain of the actual alien race. And it almost comes across as though the alien race is basically an artificial intelligence, which makes things even more spooky, because here we are 10 years later after this film released, and now we have artificial intelligence, we have pyramids in the sky, drone armies controlled by the pyramids in the sky. It's all happening right now. 10 years after this film came out. Now, Morgan Freeman convinces Cruise that he has to deliver a bomb up to the inverted pyramid object, which is called a Tet. The Tet is an inverted pyramid, and it controls all the drones.
I created you, Jack. I am your god.
So Cruise accomplishes his mission. He brings the bomb up to the Tet and he blows it up. And all the drones are in disarray because they have no more control mechanism. And this is when it all hit me. The Tet in this movie is Starlink. Starlink can actually control drone swarms. Watch.
I am your god.
Starlink is a satellite internet service that can be used for drones to stream data and video in real time. Oh, Casey, Trump must have nothing to do with these night drones. Oh, it just so happens that Starlink, which is Musk's product, just so happens to be able to control drone swarms and drone armies. How else are they going to be able to claim peace and security unless they have a drone army controlled by a central brain to monitor every single thing happening on Earth? How can you claim peace and security unless that happens? The fortunate thing for us believers is that once they claim true peace and security, the end will come. So we are at the end. This is shocking. Let's keep watching here. Here are some images of what Starlink does and what it looks like up there in low Earth orbit. It literally looks like an inverted dark pyramid, just like in the movie. A Tet. Here are some images here, how Starlink works.
I am your god.
Here's some more inverted dark pyramids in low Earth orbit and how it all works. Remember the hexagon at the center of the drones? That's where the power source is put into. It looks like a hexagon little cave that they put into the pineal position of these drones. Well, even that's included in this image here. And then you get the dark inverted pyramids.
I am your god.
Here's some more images a bunch of dark inverted pyramids. Skylink, Starlink.
I am your God.
And then I just took the logo for Starlink and you invert it and you clearly see the dark pyramid. So, Starlink is the all-seeing eye. The pyramid inverted. And this was the history on the pyramid all-seeing eye dollar bill that they were hoping to arrive at. We are at the top capstone of the pyramid in U.S. and world history. And they knew how it was going to happen because I counted 13 presidents after the pyramid and all-seeing eye was put on the dollar bill. The 13th president landed on Trump's first presidency before the capstone of the pyramid on the dollar bill. So it's Skylink that will control the drone swarms ultimately. And this cannot be good for humanity. And this is why Trump put in the Space Force during his first presidency to protect their investment. Not that any of us can get up there and do anything about it. But what if other countries try to shoot down Starlink? Well, Space Force will have been already perfectly positioned to take care of that. 13 presidents after the pyramid was put on the dollar bill landed on Trump's first presidency, and he now is the drone president. The all-seeing eye has been capped. The capstone. Now, you would think that this information would want to be seen by the world, but so many people are asleep. So many are asleep. I guess we're all going to see, and it's all going to start happening in 2025. Well, I'm back in the chat, you guys. Now, tomorrow, we're going to get into some Between the Headlines. It's been a while since we've done a show on Between the Headlines, but what are your guys' thoughts on everything that we presented today? Thanks, Brian, for the gifted memberships. Now, this isn't about fear. How can the ultimate truth be about fear? It's almost like the person is saying, oh, well, I don't want to know this. So you want to basically be an ostrich with their head in the ground? Yes, the truth can be scary if you don't know where you're going after all this goes down. For those of us that are believers, we know where we're going. And it's not like I've been wrong about anything we've been talking about over the last 10 years. The only thing we missed, you guys, was it took me a while to understand the graphene aspect to all this. But other than that, we told you a pandemic was coming. We also told you that Trump would be elected again. We were right about that. We told you about the 99 red balloons, and all that happened. I told you that there would be a drone swarm and Skynet, and all that's happened. I don't know what else we have to be right about before people wake up. And again, it's not me being right. I'm just trying to be still and listen to what God's telling us. The Holy Spirit inspiration so that we can help people not be deceived. A lot of people were deceived during the pandemic, didn't they? And they took the it. I told you we were right about that before it even came to market. I told you guys that a lot of people were going to die and get hurt. And what happened? A lot of people died and got hurt. I told you Well, we're not even going to go into everything. For those of you that come to the channel, you already know. The frustration is that most people don't know. Okay. It's like only the people. It's not like we're one of those channels going, oh, the what do you call it? The rapture, it's going to happen on such and such a date. And then it never happens like 10 times in a row. We're not one of those channels. We've been right about everything, and it doesn't seem to matter. And the truth is not the truth anymore. It's now become a popularity contest that the algorithms control, right? Now, let's go into the chat. What a trip, right? What a trip. It's Monday morning. We can hang out for a little bit. I know that was kind of a quick show. Now, what are we going to cover tomorrow? Well, Beyonce, they're now doing halftime shows for playoff games. I don't even know if it's the playoffs yet for NFL. We've got UK enforcing facial recognition for social media. We told you all that was going to happen. We told you resist, resist, resist. Any kind of facial scans, biometrics, and yet Trump got a free pass on that too. Every state should have biometric identity, he said. Every state should have real ID. And over the last 4 years, more and more states have picked up the real ID, which is essentially a federalized print of your face. Never before in history has that happened since Nazi Germany. What else are we going to cover tomorrow? We are going to get into this plane accident and some other stuff too. I'll have to check that out. All right. And probably by tomorrow, we might have some more development of the story regarding Trump and Bill Gates. Plane crashes. Yep. Plane crashes popping off. All right. We are now up to 13 billionaires in Trump's cabinet. And now we have all the millionaires and billionaires basically bowing at the altar of Trump, sending in $1 million to his upcoming inauguration. These are people that have stated on various occasions that they want artificial intelligence to control the world, that they don't really need workers like people, that computers are now smarter than people. All of these people have been on record saying such things and tweeting them out. And now these will be people helping Trump. How can this be good? If you were a billionaire and you wanted to make more profits and be even more rich, you would need to get in tight with the president, wouldn't you? That's not going to benefit you and I. That's going to benefit rich people. Now, I used to be under the deception that, oh, it's trickle down. I used to believe in Reaganomics. I used to believe in all that because I am a moral conservative and fiscal conservative. But then I realized that no, that's just a blank check for people to be more and more and more greedy, and to collect more and more and more profits, and to develop technology that basically X's out people as a resource. Instead, they fill it with more robots and computers that take our jobs away. So no, it is not a good thing that 13 billionaires are now linked up with Trump to run America. That is not good for you and I. Unless you're a tech billionaire or a millionaire who invests in all this stuff and you've already made your money, so you don't care if people have jobs in the next 10 years. What is everybody going to do, you guys, when everything is computerized? What are we going to do? We will be basically, they'll just need to control us as slaves. That's the only thing that will matter, and this is why they have the drones up there now. It's for control, because they know that the people are going to be very, very upset. Heck, I wonder if the Space Force is going to be out there patrolling with the drones. It's up there in the sky. It's just a fancy way of basically calling it a domestic air force. Typically, air forces are deployed overseas, right? I mean, sometimes they'll fly them up there during, national emergencies. But essentially, they're going to control and patrol and protect the drones. So if you try to gotta be these are crazy times, you guys. I gotta be careful what I say now. Yes, the censorship has ramped back up again. It was really bad during Trump's first 4 years, and then it fell off during, the Biden years. And I'm not trying to say that Biden made it better. I'm trying to say that everything is revolving around Trump, you guys. He has the true power. He has the true power. And it's right back up there again. My videos are now getting flagged left and right, just like they did during the first 4 years of Trump. And what does that tell you? That tells you he controls Google. So, all right. What else is going on, you guys? Good morning. Yes, the communist state is being developed. We're already there. It's just people are asleep. They're on the Trump hopium. They're just glad he won. They're glad Kamala's not president. Kamala was never intended to be president. She was put there as a chess pawn. Even if she had the popular vote, they weren't going to let her win. She was put there because they wanted her to lose against Trump. I hope people are finally starting to understand that. The Democrats could have run anybody else and did way better. Okay. And it's not because, Kamala stood up and she was like, oh, if they don't let me be president or let me run, that must be a race thing. That's not why they gave in to her. Okay. That's not why they gave in to her. These people are smart. They control the media. Why would they even publish that as a story? Because they already knew they were going to give in to her. They could have easily swept her away or threatened her, and they could have run anybody else. They could have run Michelle Obama, and she would have did better than her. She would have got 5 or 10% more of the vote. They could have run Oprah Winfrey. Search your thoughts and your critical thinking, and you will understand that what I'm telling you is the truth. They could have run anybody else if they really wanted to go up against Trump, right? It's a tit for tat, right? Billionaire versus billionaire. They could have run Oprah Winfrey. She would have did better than Kamala Harris, right? They could have run anybody. Now, who would have done worse than Kamala Harris? Well, that would be like AOC. AOC would have did worse. Or Gavin Newsom would have did worse because they're not liked by a lot of people. But a lot of people still like Oprah Winfrey. A lot of people still like, Michelle Obama and Barack Obama. They could have run anybody else. They didn't want to win. They were told not to win. Okay, there was no chance, but they convinced the conservatives that it was close, and you have to give your consent. Why? Because that consent gets your consent to what's going to happen next. And if you think the night drones are going away when Trump becomes president, you're sadly mistaken. Yes, it's all planned. And this is real talk. Most people don't want to hear this. They don't want to hear it because it sounds like a nightmare. But it is the truth. All right. What else is going on, you guys? We can do a little Q&A if you guys want. Or a poll. Yeah. It's insane. Nobody liked Kamala Harris. The vice president of weekend at Biden's, that's the wow. Israel AI is called the gospel. I heard about that, Benjamin. Someone told me that, or I heard from one of you guys, or got an email or something, that essentially the word for artificial intelligence in Israel means the gospel. So that's straight up blasphemy, isn't it? It's the God. It's just like in Oblivion, where the Tet says, I am your God. That's what this all is. So that's a great point. Thanks for, yep. VP of Cringe, no accomplishments. They knew she couldn't win. That's why they put her there, because they all work together. It's so obvious to me. Yes, AI is likely the beast. Who can make war with the beast? You can't fight an artificial intelligence, right? It's all seeing and all knowing. What do you think these supercomputers are, you guys? They will be the brain. They will be the driving force, the intelligence behind the swarms. And we're the ones building it because people are still stuck in the paradigm. They won't wake up. They won't wake up. They still believe, oh, there's good. Trump cares about us. No, he doesn't. He does not. If he cared about us, he would say, you know what? Okay, I'm going to pretend to be Trump now. I do a horrible presentation of Trump, so I'm not going to try to impersonate him. But what he should have said is, we will put laws in place that artificial intelligence can only be used for certain things that are detached from human experience. They will not be allowed to take jobs. They will not be allowed to use against your privacy and surveillance. They will not be allowed to be used for law enforcement. There should be an AI Bill of Rights, which essentially will disqualify artificial intelligence from literally everything. Okay? Literally everything. But see, the purpose of the beast is opposite that. So this is why that could never happen. Because the beast wants to control everything. So this is why no one is standing up for us against the beast. They're allowing it to happen. They're trying to say that it can be good or bad, depending on how it's used. They're admitting that it will take over the world and create a mind of its own. They're admitting all this. Why are we okay with it just because Trump says it's okay and his 13 billionaires say it's okay? Why are we okay with that? Why? Now, what else? Yes, they do not like Christ. They believe the lie and worship the image of the beast. Yes, deaf bread, you are awake. They are worshiping the image of the beast. They're already making excuses for it. This is right out of Revelation. Stockholm Syndrome, says Julia. 13 families. Yes, now being a witch is cool. Everything's been flipped. They shall call evil good and good evil. You talk to young people and anyone, now all of a sudden it's cool to be into witchcraft. Right? It's now cool to be into witchcraft and all this occult stuff. Now we examine the occult and expose it. We don't practice it. If I was on here going, okay, you guys, we're going to have a tarot card show today. I'm going to put the cards down and see what we should look at next. You would all unsubscribe. But if I go look at this card and look at what the enemy is doing, they're following the cards. That's completely different. That's exposing evil, not joining in with it. Correct? There are AI churches now worshiping the image of the beast. Yes, Tonette. I was born in 64. Elon said it to AI will take over. It brought the occult up through the children's cartoons. Yes. Yes, everyone not going along with the agenda will be on the list. Correct. Terminator predictive programming. Yes. So, again, we're very close. We're on the cusp of them claiming peace and security. I don't know if it's going to happen during the Trump presidency. It's shaping up to. If all these people connected to Trump are into drones and artificial intelligence, that is going to be the beast. You see, I could have never, we talked about drones in the past, years ago. We were talking about the danger. We even talked, there was an old video, many of you remember, I was fishing. It was like 10 years ago. Remember the video I was fishing on the Kachuma Lake, and I was so upset that a drone flew over my head. I was standing near the dam at Kachuma, and I was like, you guys, this is going to become our world. Literal drone surveillance. And remember, back then, drones were just toys. And I remember having a discussion with you guys telling you, look, they're giving these drones away for close to free. Remember in the beginning, you could get a drone for next to nothing. And they're allowing all, this freedom to put drones in the air and get great camera footage. They basically gave us technology to desensitize us to drones flying above our heads, right? This is how they always do it. They have to give us some of the technology so that, we get used to it. And now here we are, 10 years later, and we have night drones flying around with strange lights, unidentified, and no one will do anything about it. These are the first stages in the Terminator drones. And they'll say that things are just accidents. They're already programming us for that too. Remember the drone, quote unquote, fell out of the sky and hurt a child? Remember that? At a holiday celebration? It was like a Christmas thing. Well, that's programming. That's to get you to accept accidents, quote unquote, accidents. Yes, and then there was the death of Jimmy Carter at 100 years old. That goes without saying, but I should speak it just so that you guys know. This was what, yesterday? Jimmy Carter. Now think about that. JC. Those are the initials of Jesus Christ. Wow. All right. Drones are crashing already. Yes. Elon's brother owns drone shows. Yes. He owns like 9,000 drones. Why do you think that is? You think it's just because billionaires' brothers love to collect drones and have drone companies? It's because he knows what's coming. Elon Musk already told him, hey, the new era is going to be drones everywhere. And Elon Musk even tells us this on his tweets. He's putting up images of drone armies in the sky. They're literally telling us what's coming. But we're supposed to disconnect the connection between all these night drones that are showing up just because it's at the end of Biden's presidency, and that has nothing to do with Musk and his connection to Trump with the incoming presidency. You would literally have to do mental acrobatics to believe that lie. Of course they're connected. Of course they are. So, what else is going on, you guys? Now, for those of you that come to the channel, I already know you know all this. But, at some point, this will have to go outside of our circle of people that come to the channel. This is why I speak in these terms, to help people understand and wake up. You know, every once in a while we'll get a break through the algorithms, and some of our videos will get a little bit more views than others. Most of them, they have us tightly controlled, tightly, you know, trapped in a silo. So it is what it is. We'll continue to carry on and keep speaking out. So, all right. Bread and circuses. All right. Digitally controlled surveillance. Yes, a new age is coming in. We've gone through a portal. Absolutely. Now, what else was I going to tell you guys? Now, some channels are waking up to all of this. You know, the drone connection, the Internet of Things, you know, where this is all headed. And that's good, because the more people with eyes on this, the better. Yeah, I'm pretty exhausted too, but we must endure until the end. We know the end is near. When they say peace and security, the end, well, sudden destruction is coming. So we know that. So we must endure until the end. We got to pace ourselves, right? I'm trying to learn how to pace myself, because pretty wore out too, you guys. I mean, this is a lot of work to do this. All right. Welcome, Corey G. Welcome, everybody. Yes, the syringe cartomacy. Syringe. It's all about the syringe. A lot of people are talking a higher level, trying to not get mad. No hide laws. Yes, China's already a police state using drones. We're trying to copy them. I don't care what you think Trump is about. They've been clear. Night drones were signed into executive order by Trump in 2017. Night drones. You can look it up. So, Net Zapper. Why do so many Americans think Trump is a good guy? That's a really good question, SB. It's because they're stuck in the Hegelian dialectic. They believe that all that Trump has gone through and come out clean as a whistle, and they believe that the assassination attempt, they believe all that. So they say if he's being opposed by all that stuff, then he must be good. What they don't understand is all of that was orchestrated. You guys, even a cat that has 9 lives, people realize that's even that's a joke. Cats don't have 9 lives. The joke is that what do you know that has 9 close calls and still survives? That's the joke. And so if we apply that to what Trump, quote unquote, went through, then you would, if you really thought about it, if you really sat down and you asked yourself, and were completely honest with yourself, what political figure do you know that has survived that many attacks? You guys, what is he being indicted like 5 times? Never went to jail. How many times has he claimed bankruptcy, and he keeps getting more and more rich? Teflon Don. Yes, Gabby, nothing sticks. That's not real unless someone has a tremendous amount of power. But most people are not, they don't get it. They think, oh, it's because he's so good. It's the art of the deal. It's because he's a perfect negotiator. And it plays to your ignorance and your ego. It's your ego that likes Trump and that believes he has our best interest. It's your own personal ego. It's your own desire to win and feel good against the liberal agenda. That's what they play to. It's some kind of mind control. It's some kind of psychological operation. And people believe it. The people that I talk to, they truly believe Trump is a messiah figure. They literally say this is a spiritual thing and that Trump was sent here to save us. I can't even believe it. The stuff that I hear coming out of people's mouths. People that I thought were really smart. And I'm like, you don't understand. Nobody survives that many political attacks and survives it unless you work for the dark side. Prime example. Wouldn't you think God would bless this channel? Right? If, because we're working for good and to tell you the truth. Wouldn't something like this actually be something where, it would reach the world and be successful and all this, right? So think about that for a second. Why would God bless a billionaire who the Bible explicitly tells us that billionaires are the least likely people to go to heaven? There's still a possibility, but it's like going through the eye of a needle, right? It just doesn't, none of it makes any sense, no matter what he's saying. And there's this strange pattern of Trump saying things that he can't possibly achieve. But then people all believe, it's just because he wants to do it. It's because he wants to do it and he's expressing that he wants to. It doesn't matter if he achieves it or tells us the truth about it. Okay, prime example. California is ramping up. How is Trump going to root out and deport all these illegals when they can just run to states that are going to protect them? This is what we're dealing with California. California is saying, we're going to, what is Trump going to send troops into California? Is that the America we live in now? Where we're going to send troops into California? It ain't going to happen. So it's a lie. It's a lie. If you can't force a state to basically ban all subsidies, right? Let's think through this process, right? It's super simple. Let's use critical thinking. Wouldn't it be much easier to sign an executive order? Now, I know he's not president yet, but as soon as he's president, wouldn't it be much easier to sign an executive order to basically force states to not give out any more subsidies to illegals? And you can't harbor an illegal. You can't hire an illegal. You can't give an illegal a driver's license. Right? Wouldn't that be a lot less confrontational and violent than saying, we're going to go house to house and root out your illegals using the military in your state? Wouldn't you start with the simpler, less controversial, decision, which you would have the back of the Supreme Court under national security, and you have the power of the Supreme Court to push that through, right? I mean, I don't, it's just, it plays on emotions instead of reality. That's what the point I'm trying to get to here. So anyway, hop off of that. And if you don't believe me, well, look at what happened with abortion. That's actually a living example of what Trump says he's going to do. He thinks that he got some kind of a victory over abortion by, with the Supreme Court decision. And it sounds good, but what's actually happened? Well, the abortion people just go to the other states, and abortion have actually increased instead of decreased. So it had the opposite effect. So unless you're able to force the states to do something like end abortion in that state with an executive order, or end subsidies to illegals in that state with an executive order, then it does absolutely nothing. I'm not even that smart of a person, and I can figure that out because I'm not living in the emotion of the right-left paradigm. I'm not living in this paradigm of thinking that the Democrats are different than the Republicans. They're all the same. And they're all marching us toward the beast system. Now, we used to know that in the truth community. We used to know that we were marching toward the beast system regardless of who's president. But for some reason, now all of a sudden people believe in Trump. There are Christian truth channels telling you to vote for Trump, or telling you before to vote for Trump. What happened to the beast system that we all knew we were marching towards in the end times? Well, it's like everybody forgot. So, what else is going on, you guys? Yes, the love of money, says Roy, the 501c3, that was part of it. It's a game, chaos magic. All right. No poll yet. I didn't do a poll yet. T-Man even got the Amish to vote, says Lorraine Ray. Is that true? Wow. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of deception in the truth community. It's been infiltrated. Not good, you guys. Not good. Now, be ready for the next wave of deception. Are you ready? Okay, here we go. We're going to do a Casey, mark my words. Okay, mark my words. We will have a bunch of truth channels basically running cover for whatever Trump's going to do at the border when he becomes elected. And they'll be flying drones up there. They will be doing biometrics and facial recognition as they go in and root out these, these illegals. And there will be truth channels that will say this is necessary in order to handle the border problem. The border problem has been orchestrated on purpose to bring in the identity, the biometric identity of all Americans at some point. So you'll know what to do when you hear the channel say that. Oh, it's just for the illegals. It's not for us. We have to do this. Support Trump. The Democrats are opposing it. It must be good. It must be good. And they'll just march out the right-left paradigm again, and people will fall for it. So, mark my words, it's coming. What else is coming? Well, I'll keep you guys posted for, with what I think, my opinion. I don't know any of this, but it is what it is. All of this is practice for them. Why do you think they're going to practice on the illegals first? Because it's going to become a reality for the rest of us. Digital identity. Yes. If we're going to be locked down again, poll. Okay, yeah, that's a good one. Thanks, Just a Girl. Let's see here. Let's see here. Okay, start a poll. Do you believe there will be a second pandemic and lockdown? I'm 50-50 on that, if I had to guess. Sometimes these people surprise me, but other times they're pretty predictable. Oh, ready for this? What else were we right about? Remember the very first lockdown that Trump did before the national lockdown? It was in New Rochelle. And I got into my truck and I drove through. And in that video, I said to you guys, there is military here in a U.S. city. And this will be I said in the specific words, the rest of the country will be locked down. That was like 2 weeks before the lockdowns, before the 2-week lockdown. Remember that? It's all on record here. It's on the channel. You can go look back. And an interesting thing happened, didn't there, when I was trying to warn everybody. Hey, this is a U.S. city being locked down for a pandemic. Remember? And this was back in 2020. It was like, I don't know, February. And an interesting thing happened, didn't it? Even though we were completely right and the whole United States ended up getting locked down, a couple of truth channels started attacking me, didn't they? About me driving through that city and warning everybody about Trump's connection to the city because he had opened a building, or he had christened a building there or something. Remember I showed the whole thing? I showed Trump there for the ribbon cutting of the building. I think it was one of his buildings actually in New Rochelle. And I told you guys about the Juice Club connection. And a couple channels started attacking me about that. They were so angry that I talked about the Juice Club connection. I'm not going to name that channel because you're not allowed to do that anymore. But for those of you that were there when that happened, you remember. And I was like, we cannot allow this. They're going to shut down everything. So one of those people is no longer alive who are attacking us. The other one's still here on YouTube. I was like, why are you attacking me? I go, I've recommended your channel before. Why are you so sensitive about this Juice Club aspect to this? Don't you know? Don't you know? Remember? Some of you will remember. So we have not been wrong, but certain truth channels are paid to oppose us. It's like, how do I describe it? There are those of us that are here that are real, and there are others that are not. Okay. They're probably funded by the enemy, or at least influenced on some kind of demonic level. And when they hear the truth and they know that it can change something, they lash out. The demon inside of them lashes out. Typically, these are channels that don't believe in God. This particular one doesn't really. I think they're atheists. But a lot of you follow some of these channels for whatever reason. I don't understand why someone would follow a channel that doesn't believe in Jesus, but it is what it is, right? And so when this person lashed out at me, I was like, whoa, and they did it publicly on their own YouTube channel. Mad at me because I called out lockdowns that I knew were coming. So this is the proving grounds. They're testing it. And sure enough, 2 weeks later, all of America was on the 2-week lockdown. And then it didn't end, remember? So now if you're curious as to who this person was, you can email me. I'm not going to say their channel or name here, but it gives you a snapshot into who's accurate about the truth and who isn't. Who the Lord is behind trying to warn the people, and who is not. And it should be pretty crystal clear at this point. So we are the last of us. I'm thinking that's probably the case, Brian. All right, you guys. Well, I guess we've been on here long enough. I know you guys like to hang out sometimes, and I need to do more of that. And sometimes on these quicker shows, like today's show, I'll be able to do that more. But yeah, 2024 is going to be interesting. It's going to get real interesting. No, let me leave you guys with this before we pop off here. So I've been screening The Penguin. Now, first, I almost didn't watch the series. I'm almost to the end now. The Penguin. And I was like, I couldn't help but notice the similarities in the metaphors for Trump in The Penguin. I didn't expect to see that. To be honest with you, I was kind of watching it more for entertainment. I'm not a huge Batman fan and all that, but I figure, Trump's connected to Batman in so many ways. I should probably look at the Penguin. And it's interesting. Oh, yeah, I didn't mean 2025. Sorry. I'm still stuck in 2024. And I was like, whoa. So I start screening the Penguin. And it's interesting because Colin Farrell plays the Penguin, except they put him in like a heavy suit to make him look like an overweight Italian man. The Penguin, right? And the acting is like really good, actually, because you don't really know it's Colin Farrell under the suit. It's really good. And the better acting is actually Sophia, which is the antagonist of the Penguin. She comes from a wealthy Italian crime family in Gotham. Yes, thank you, Chad. Farrell. Now, we all know the Farrell is the hypodermic needle. But the connections to Trump go even deeper, because remember, Trump's the needle president. More needles jabbed than any other president in history under Trump's warp speed that he created and takes credit for often. There's a certain point in which the Penguin goes underground. Now, I know that I see Cheryl in there. Hey, Cheryl, I think you and Jay would enjoy the Penguin series, and you'd probably get a lot out of this. I think that's kind of Jay's speed. He likes these kind of films, and it's really, really good acting. So anyways, the Penguin goes underground into the sewers, into the swamp. And his whole drug operation, because basically he takes over the drug trade in Gotham. That's the whole story. He unites the families against the wealthy elite and the wealthy gangsters. He reunites the little people, and that's the whole story behind the Penguin. And then, of course, at some point, Batman has to come out and, take care of the Penguin. Now, I haven't got to the part where he interacts with Batman yet, because I'm on like episode 6 or 7. Anyway, to make a long story short, the Batman is down in the sewer making these drugs out of mushrooms. The drug that he has developed comes out of a mushroom, and it's not the actual mushroom. It's some kind of a residue from the mushroom that's like red. And this is what they use to make this new drug called Bliss. Anyway, he figures out that you can grow these mushrooms down in the swamp, down in the sewer, down in the underbelly of the city. And the whole operation centers around a trolley, an abandoned trolley. It's literally the centerpiece. And the number on the trolley is 58. Of course, that's the Trump number. He also talks about the storm is coming, the calm before the storm, direct quotes from the TV series. And I've yet to see, how this is all going to end. Probably pop off of here and finish up Penguin. That's a snapshot on the Penguin. I didn't want to do a full decode on it. Some people get overwhelmed. No matter how much people are out of the right-left paradigm, they get upset when I talk about Trump. That should tell you what you need to know. If you're still upset, that means you're still holding on to the right-left paradigm, because none of these politicians, right or left, have our best interests at heart. It's all a show. It's a game. It's WWE. All they care about is making more money and having more control. You can't even possibly spend all the money they make. But yet, why do they keep wanting more? I don't understand that. I'm at a point in my life where I don't really need anything. I have everything I need. The last thing I was, hoping for was a good running vehicle, because that's important to me. I don't want to have to worry or get stranded. And I was able to get that last year. That's it. I don't really need anything else. I don't understand the mindset of someone who wants to rule over other people and want to, I can understand maybe getting to $1 million, because maybe that will, give you some long-term security and the security of your family after you. But at a certain point, it becomes greed, doesn't it? Now, I'm not a communist. I'm not a Marxist. I don't believe that we should be capping people and what they do and what they make, but it's the system that allows for someone to accumulate these massive amounts of wealth. And the power that they then achieve with that wealth has nothing to do with caring about you or me. In fact, it's just the opposite. The more power and wealth someone accumulates, that's just going to make them want to oppress other people more. That's it. That's it. And this isn't hate. This isn't jealousy, because I don't want what they have. This is about human nature and doing what's right. We still live in a country where people are cold and children don't have clothes, even though their parents work 40 hours a week. People still don't have reliable cars to drive, or they live in places where they're getting their windows broken, or crime. You know, they really could have sold this night drone thing a completely different way, and it might have been more believable. They could have said, we're going to end crime. We're going to stop your car from being broken in. Wouldn't that have been a lot? You know, think about it. Your car's parked on the street. This has happened to me a couple times. They break your window. That's $300 that you don't have, right? They won't solve that. But instead, they're going after all the wrong people. And then the millionaires and billionaires get off scot-free for their crimes that they commit that are a million times worse than anything we do, right? So, I'm hoping someone understood this today and can wake up to all this. And the answer, and I don't even say it enough, you guys all know the answer. It's Jesus Christ. He's the answer. Because look, we already know this world and what it's going to do and where it's going to end up. We can't really change it. All we can do is point people in the right direction so that when this kingdom is over, the new kingdom will come and it will be a much better kingdom. And that's Jesus' kingdom, built on the rock. I love each and every one of you, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Much love.